Well, good morning. It's Saturday morning, and we've made it all the way to Acts 7, verse 30. We're going to read 30 through 43. Now, when 40 years had passed, an angel appeared to him in the wilderness of Mount Sinai, in a flame of fire in a bush. When Moses saw it, he was amazed at the sight, and as he drew near to look, there came the voice of the Lord. I am the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham and of Isaac and of Jacob. And Moses trembled and did not dare look. The Lord said to him, Take off the sandals from your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. I have seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their groaning, and I have come down to deliver them. And now I will send you to Egypt. This Moses, whom they rejected, saying, Who made you a ruler and a judge? This man God sent as both ruler and redeemer, by the hand of the angel who appeared to him in the bush. This man led them out, performing wonders and signs in Egypt and at the Red Sea and in the wilderness for 40 years. This is the Moses who said to the Israelites, God will raise up for you a prophet like me from your brothers. This is the one who was in the congregation in the wilderness with the angel who spoke to him at Mount Sinai and with our fathers. He received living oracles to give to us. Our fathers refused to obey him, but thrust him aside, and in their hearts they turned to Egypt, saying to Aaron, Make for us gods who will go before us. As for this Moses who led us out from the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him. And they made a calf on those days and offered a sacrifice to the idol and were rejoicing in the works of their hands. But God turned away and gave them over to worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets. Did you bring to me slain beasts and sacrifices during the 40 years in the wilderness, O house of Israel? You took up the tent of Moloch and the star of your god Rephan, images that you made to worship. And I will send you into exile beyond Babylon. So, Moses encounters God at the burning bush. It's a kind of a miracle. The bush is on fire, but it's not turning black and withering. It's still a bush. Now, you may not believe this, but I know a guy who was in the army and was in the Sinai back in the 80s, I guess, in the army, and went to the monastery at Mount Sinai, and they were told, well, if you go over here in this part of the mountain, you'll see a tree, and that's the burning bush. That's the very bush that Moses saw burn. So they went, and he said, there's this old, ancient-looking, gnarled kind of tree, small tree, sort of bush thing. And he said, we didn't know how old it was, but the locals say that's the very bush that burned when the Lord God came and spoke to Moses. You can believe that or not. But what God did was call Moses, said, go back and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. So Moses does. All the plagues happen. Eventually, Moses says God is going to smite the firstborn of all Egypt. And God does. The angel of death comes. The Hebrews paint the door frames with the blood of their animal they've sacrificed, and they eat their meal hurriedly, and the next morning early they escape. So that's the Passover. The angel of death passed over the houses of the Egyptians or the Israelites, but slaughtered the firstborn of the Egyptians. So they left. They wandered for 40 years in the wilderness and all this. And at a certain point, Moses goes up on the mountain to get the law. He's up there a long time. his people think he's died. They say, we don't know what's happened to that guy. So they prevail upon his brother Aaron, make for us gods. Nobody in the ancient world had ever had a god that you couldn't see. A god was a statue of some kind. So against his better judgment, perhaps, Aaron takes all their gold and jewelry and melts it down and makes a kind of a calf. So there's the golden calf, a bull. And this is what they can worship. And they do. And of course, Moses comes down and God is very angry and smites a whole bunch of them. And so that's what's remembered there in the prophecies. We're going to keep reading this story. We've got about 15 more verses to read tomorrow, or actually Monday. But I hope that you'll think about this some more and keep reading that story. The burning bush is in Exodus chapter 3. And so we're into Exodus pretty good ways at this point. Stephen is telling the whole story, but he's shortening it up greatly, and that's a good thing. So read that story, and we will see you on Monday.